Hello and welcome to Tabletop Odyssey. My name is Jay and today I'm going to be asking the question whether or not Infiltrate will be overpowered in Star Wars Legion. Now the actual answer to that is it's probably too soon to say. But we're going to talk about it anyway and hopefully you'll enjoy the video. Two things, I'm feeling a lot better. My voice is getting to be like, yes, this actually is generally near enough how I sound. Join me on Discord. This is actually Katie's computer there, but it's got Discord running in the background. So come join me on Discord and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why I'm talking about it. It was in the Discord. It was in the Star Wars Legion Discord. People were talking about it and I was like, oh, I'll have a think about this and see if I think it's overpowered. But Infiltrate's a keyword, a ability that is going to come with Jin and the Pathfinders, some new units that are coming out, I think, in February. Now, we don't really know 100% what the rules will say about Infiltrate, and that's why we don't necessarily know even if it's going to be OP, because we don't necessarily 100% know the rule yet. But let's just talk about what we think it is. So what we think it is and what it actually says here, but as I said, it might have an amendment in the rulebook, is that you can deploy anywhere beyond range 3 of an enemy unit. Now, why might that be OP? So this boils down to very simple, so you can deploy on objectives, or you will be able to, and very specifically recover the supplies. So if you have a unit of Pathfinders, so a unit of 4 Pathfinders, or however many you take, you could, in theory, if you're the blue player, so we could be seeing a return of the blue player bid, especially with Pathfinders, you could, if you deploy first, as far as we know, currently nothing would stop you just deploying, touching the objective of the middle objective that you're going to try and recover. And why might that be good or bad? Well, let's presume you get them maybe a token, probably with the second a 2-pip, because I doubt a 1-pip would be able, maybe you actually just take ambush, so you can give these guys ambush. You pick up the box and you move away. You've got an advantage there in that case, as long as the terrain and that kind of thing suits you. You've got that first box and you have the advantage, and that's why people are saying it's OP. Now, I'm using the Pathfinders specifically because even though Jin has Infiltrate, having just the one character be that far forward, it might be good on something like key positions if the terrain is particularly fortuitous, because she has 6 wounds and 3 courage. But having it on a unit that seems possibly a little bit more useful. But I think the unit is also cheaper than Jin, so it's the cheapest way to get the ability. So is that going to be overpowered? Well, we don't know, as I said, because we don't know the full rules, but it's very strong. Let's put it that way. In the circumstance that I just described, it's very strong. Now, it doesn't really so much matter for breakthrough because Infiltrate's costed into that unit, so that's fine. Yeah, they'll get across very easily, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter for, the sabotage, the Vaporators could be another one where it is actually broken. That's unlikely because even if I've got the Infiltrators and I put one of my units on your Vaporator, yeah, I might be able to heal it or wound it or whatever it is for a turn. Then I'm probably just going to die and you'll just walk up and fix it. So my Vaporators probably not. It seems completely fine. Key positions, you might have a slight advantage that you won't have to move if you deploy on the middle objective, but you've got 6 turns to get there, so not really a problem. I mentioned breakthrough, sabotage, key positions we've already talked about. Which one? What are the ones I'm forgetting? Intercept the transmissions, not really bothered on that one. And I feel like I'm missing one, but I can't remember what it is, so we'll just ignore it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Most of them, it's not really going to be a problem. And what are the counters to it? That's the problem. Part of the issue is that there's not really that many counters to it. Yeah, you could maybe put on the long march, you actually are farther away than 3 to the middle. I think it is 3 to the middle. On most of the maps, you're 2 or possibly slightly less if you have a recon intel or something like that. But essentially, if you are the blue player and you go before the Infiltrate unit, you just put your unit as close to the point as you can, and then beyond range 3 will mean that they have to move and pick it up. It might mean that they have to move and pick it up, but I doubt the maths work out for that. I think considering you're exactly like 2 from the middle, you probably can't pick it up. You probably can't make it so it's a move. They can probably just move and pick it up. But I haven't done the maths. I might be chatting absolute nonsense there. But if you get to deploy against an infiltrate unit first, then that's one of the ways to stop it. But let's say they get to go first and they're on the middle objective. How do you stop that? And let's say we think they're going to activate, probably with a 2-pip. They're probably only going to get a 2-pip because unless they don't take another character and they actually take ambush, they might not be able to get away with quick enough with a 1-pip. But if your opponent is playing for this, maybe they will take ambush. But let's say they don't. Let's say they don't have ambush, but they very easily could. Like somebody like a Luke Skywalker with Son of Skywalker could move before they move, double move, force push them in, and then they've got to withdraw, and then you could shoot them, and you've got all that going on. And really, that's one of the only counters that I can see to it. You could put maybe Recon Intel on Bubba. Maybe Bubba could move and whipcord them. Is it whipcords? That's the pip one. Recon Intel, a double move probably gets you very close to, even if they move away. I haven't done the maths here, which is a bit of a problem in this video. But you could, he's going to be very close. Then he could even whipcord them so they're stuck there for a turn, and then maybe you can shoot them. So there are a couple of solutions, but imagine your Palp and your Royal Guard. If they've moved away from the box, then you're probably range 3 away. It's probably and very likely, I'm confident in this one, that a triple move won't get you there. So even if you you pull the strings and then you double move, you're probably not in range. Now, if you've got Recon Intel, you possibly are. Maybe we're going to just see the rise even further of Recon Intel. I know online in Tabletop Simulator, we are seeing quite a lot of Recon Intel, which is a bit of a shame because it's quite an expensive card to actually obtain. But it's a very good card for 2 points. It's very cheap and very good. So I know I'm considering buying more boxes purely for Recon Intel. But yeah, so we might see even further the rise of Recon Intel. Now, the reason this isn't as bad as the old key positions is pretty simple. It's slightly more situational. In this case, it's not just whoever is blue player wins, and we know that wasn't necessarily the case, but in most cases that was the case. You had any list, you got key positions, you pretty much won. In this list, you have to take the infiltrate unit, so you're paying the price for that keyword, and then you've got to get not key positions, recover the supplies. So it's more situational, as in you have to build into it, and we have to sort of hope. And I was talking on the Discord, and I think it was a double Rainbow Thomas who said this. We've got to sort of hope that the Pathfinders, if they are so good in that one mode, that they're slightly less good in the others to make them so they are the appropriate level of taking them. But my problem with that is, even if they're bad at breakthrough, which they're probably not, I may have called breakthrough breakout before, I don't remember. Even if they were suddenly bad at breakthrough, I don't want to play a game where I'm just rock paper scissors out of the game. I always want to feel like I've got some agency in the game. And on the one game where they get recover the supplies, I'm going to feel very bad about it. If I lose a game in a tournament because my opponent has that, it's like, I don't care really. Like, if you run a 50-point bid, it's like, if I physically didn't get the chance or had no good way of stopping it, then that's a problem. And yeah, as I said, I mentioned a couple of solutions. Patch and some other dogs are barking around, I'm going to ignore them. As I said, Luke maybe could get with a 1-pip, but you could be 1-pipping off, which wouldn't be that great. And maybe you take Recon Intel with Royal Guard and Palp, and maybe you take Recon Intel with Boba, but they're very... To have to build something specifically to counter that is possibly going to be frustrating. Maybe. This is... I'm just chatting here because we don't know. I sort of hope that they'll come out and say one of two things. One, you can't do infiltrate on an objective, touching the objective, so you have to move onto the objective and pick it up. That wastes that first turn. Or not waste it, but it means you're there in the middle. Or two, you can't deploy within range 3 of the a deployment area, or your enemy deployment area, which would mean they would have to move on again onto the objective and take it. Now, if you got recover the supplies and long march, you actually would be absolutely naffed. But you should have agency in the minigame to guarantee that you don't get both. you should never really end up in a situation where you end up with both things that are diabolical for you. You should always, because you can either if one's at the end, then you can either remove that first one or the second, or not get to the end. Do you know what I mean? You always have the chance to avoid it. So yeah, I wouldn't. If any of those two fixes happen, I say fixes, that might actually be the plan. If any of those two things actually happen, fine. Other than that, I am sort of in the range that I don't think it's particularly healthy if what in theory it works perfectly. I think it needs looking at, or it shouldn't come out in the way that we think it is going to come out. But I realise, again, I'm very early, I'm premature. These aren't out for 2 months. We don't fully know the rules. I am 100% purely speculating. This might not be the case. However, do let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested in what you think about Infiltrate as a whole. Do you want to see more of it, or do you want to see it fixed? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to chat to me, Discord, I've already mentioned Discord. I might leave that there and just be like, if you want to chat to me, come on our Discord. I should have our Discord there, or Facebook. They're particularly great ways. If you've not already subscribed, then obviously do that first. Sort your life out. Obvious, guys. Have a beautiful day, though, and goodbye. Oh, I'm not ready. I am now ready. Bye.